Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome back to the channel, and in this video we are doing a review of Scorched Earth from ARK Survival Ascended in my personal opinion. We'll briefly touch on Bob's Tall Tales, but we'll do that later in the video, but without further ado, let's get into it. So, starting with the positives, Scorched Earth is the continuation of the story you began on the island, picking up where you left off after you defeated the Overseer and ascended off of the island ARK. And upon landing on Scorched Earth and waking up, you realize that the new ARK you're on is just a hostile desert domain ruled by various creatures, including the first fictional creatures. And Scorched Earth is the very first ARK to introduce fictional creatures, which I think really changed up the dynamic of the game for better, just because of how amazing some of these fictional creatures are, like the wyverns, the golems, the elementals, the morellatops, the phoenix, the mantis, jerboa, etc. On and on and on. And basically some of these creatures are based off of real life creatures that still exist. Some of them are not. You know, the Lymantria is basically a giant yucca moth, whereas a wyvern is a wyvern. And another neat thing I really like about this map is that it excludes quite a few of the overpowered creatures you'd find on the island, like gigas, Carcharodontosaurus, trikes, stegos, all sauropod species except the titanosaur, most of the marine life. The only exception are the coelacanths. You'll still find those, and several other species. But Scorched Earth, it's a new introduction of new creatures. I personally really like that. I also enjoy the new challenges that Scorched Earth presents, which are the weather conditions, which means that one of the new creatures is actually a mandatory tame, the jerboa, because the jerboa can tell you is actually like a miniature meteorologist, pretty much. There are 4 weather patterns aside from just your average regular day. There are sandstorms, severe dry thunderstorms, also known as electrical storms, super heat waves, and the occasional light rain and fog to recharge the dry environment. But the jerboa, as I mentioned, has the ability to detect these weather conditions, which is really, really cool because it gives you ample time to prepare for them. You usually get a good few minutes to set up a tent or retreat inside your base. And in addition to combating these weather conditions, when you reach a certain point, you will be able to start building structures out of adobe by grinding sand and cactus sap, which are 2 new resources, to create clay, another new resource. You have some new resources on this map, which is really cool as well. You have, what else is new? You'll have sulfur, you'll have salt. Yeah, just some really cool sources. This is also a great map for tons of organic polymer. Just go out and kill a bunch of mantis, infinite organic polymer. And infinite spoiled meat for killing the vultures as well. But in addition, your food does spoil twice as fast on this map. So you do need to take that into consideration, that being another challenge. But the most beneficial thing Scorched Earth has to offer is the game-changing wyverns and the opportunity to steal wyvern eggs, which you cannot, not only can you breed an imprint, but you can also make extraordinary kibble out of the wyvern eggs you don't want. So even though You can't knock out, tame any of the adults. You can steal the eggs. You can also get the milk from the adults, but that's just the females. And you do need the milk to imprint the wyverns. A lot of people think, oh, you just need meat and everything. No, you do need that wyvern milk. Plus, if you drink any wyvern milk, it will give you a temporary heat resistance buff, which is kind of cool. And alpha fire wyverns will give you, I think, 50 milk. And if you knock out a female, I think you'll get like 5 off of her. But yeah, it's really cool. And the fact that there are different types of wyverns, fire, lightning, and poison wyverns, all super cool. Fire wyverns, obviously a flame attack similar to a dragon. Lightning wyverns, obviously an electrical attack. And poison wyverns, of course, a noxious combination of gases that inflict a serious dot. That can do quite a bit of damage. They can one-shot you, which is really pretty cool. Now, Scorched Earth sounds like it has a lot of pros, but it also has quite a few cons, unfortunately. There are quite a few negatives. The first is that Scorched Earth's biome only being a desert, the fact that Scorched Earth is nothing but a desert, even though it varies from sand dunes to mesas and buttes to valleys and gorges, like it's still a dirt, or still a desert map. And a lot of people tend to grow old. People are like that's growing old on us really fast. They'll play on it long enough to beat the map, but then they'll be like, yep, I'm done. I have no intention. Once I beat the boss, I have no intention on staying on Scorched Earth. That's unfortunately a pretty common review. That it just grows super tiring on players. In addition, it also favors, like the island, low-level creatures. And clearing out spawn locations is a problem. And high-level wyvern eggs. It can take you days of clearing out the wyvern trench to get high-level wyverns to spawn in and lay high-level wyvern eggs, which is quite unfortunate. But, it is what it is. But yeah, that is very, very frustrating. But probably the biggest downside is the boss of Scorched Earth, which the Manticore is actually one of the easiest bosses, even on alpha difficulty. However, a lot of people don't like how easy it is. The Manticore, if you're well prepared, you can go through it like a hot knife through butter. You can skip Gamma and Beta, go straight to Alpha, and you'll go right through it like a hot knife through butter. And a lot of people are disappointed about that. But another issue, though, is that you have to have a strategy for the Manticore because it hardly ever lands, and it can take quite a bit of time to inflict some serious damage. And if you have a time limit on the boss fight, chances are that that's going to become an issue unless you have a really good army. And a lot of people think this is a bug, but it's not. It's simply how the boss operates. And a Rex army and one Uranus are the best to take in because Rexes, given their size, can actually pin the Manticore if it lands in just the right spot. But that's simply a flip of the coin. Like, is it going to land in the right spot? Is it not going to land in the right spot? You don't know. Which is quite unfortunate. But I think that's those are the biggest downsides. Low-level creatures, a boss fight that's pathetically easy yet frustrating at the same time, and also just the fact that the environment can grow old on you, the map can grow old on you. Now, some mixed opinions I have are Bob's Tall Tales, which introduces the Western, has a Western theme, Western North America, olden days, cowboy days, with saloon skins, locomotives, railways, all that good stuff, windmills. And I like that they have cowboy outfits you can use to accessorize if you dislike the appearance of the desert cloth armor, which you craft on Scorched Earth, which is also apparently the only armor you can wear on Scorched Earth without overheating. Yeah, that's kind of a thing. I mean, even ghillie armor, you may even overheat in ghillie, so you need that desert cloth. And then, of course, the main creature added to the Bob's Tall Tales expansion is the Oasisaur, which is essentially a giant floating island with the ability to revive deceased allies if needed. But it can be a pain in the butt to tame, and you do have to be very patient with taming it. But you can also build bases on the back of it, which is really cool. But ultimately, it's Bob's Tall Tales is a mix for me, because I know not everyone owns Bob's Tall Tales. I do, but I know not everyone does. But I think it was an interesting concept to add to the game, which a lot of people like it, a lot of people don't. So, have your, feel free to share your comments down below. Do you like Bob's Tall Tales? Do you not like it? Let me know down below. But overall, for my final rating of Scorched Earth, I'm going to give it a solid 6 out of 10, simply due to the fact that it had a lack of diversity. But given the introduction of the fictional creatures, that sort of kept it dropping from the 5 or 5.5 that I was going to give it. Now, I do want to disclose that Bob's Tall Tales has no effect on my rating, because I know not everyone owns it. So I'm simply rating Scorched Earth as it is, and with all of my map ratings that include Bob's Tall Tales, that those are going to be in the mixed section of the review, and I'm not going to let them ultimately impact it, but I'm sticking with the 6 out of 10 simply because just the lack of diversity environment wise. Creature wise, there's plenty of diversity, but environment wise, I think since the whole thing's a desert, it can grow old, and the fictional creatures are pretty much its saving grace. The wyverns, the phoenix, pain in the butt to tame, but really, really cool. I love the phoenix so much. Such a cool tame. I mean, something that poops out silica pearls. I mean, how is that not a cool tame? But yeah, so if you guys want to see me review and rate more ARK maps, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell. And we'll be doing a comprehensive review of all ARK Survival Ascended maps as they continue to release. Be sure to like this video if you haven't already, and yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video, survivors. Our next review, I think, is one that a lot of people are going to have mixed opinions on. So we'll just have to see what y'all have to think about it. Alright, see you guys next time.